Hello, Coleman229 here with another Topic of the Week video. This week, we get back to Legend of Korra. This week's topic was submitted by Tumblr Anon, and they asked, why Korra's physical strength and extra powers don't necessarily make her a good avatar? Now, I think we need to get into the point that a lot of people misunderstand. Physical powers is not what the avatar is about. Yes, the Avatar has great power. The Avatar can master all four elements. The Avatar can pull off amazing feats that are, beyond anyone's comprehension. And on the Avatar state, they can near perform miracles. Kyoshi literally created an island by severing a peninsula and then just pushing it somewhere else. I mean, yes, physical strength is in fact, I would even go so far as to say that physical strength is actually important for the Avatar. To have strength physically allows you to pull off a lot of these moves, along with spiritual strength. But that is not all there is. You need to have balance. And a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender went on and on about balance, and it's talking about how you can't just have everything be isolationist from each other. Like, especially the one moment that sticks out to me the most is when Iroh is I think it's book 2. Is it book 2? Yeah, it's book 2. Yeah, because this is before he rejoined Zuko rejoined the Fire Nation. Because Iroh spent a good amount of book 3 in jail. He's explaining to Zuko all these different things, and he's talking about lightning redirection and all that other stuff about all the elements, and he's talking about balancing and stuff, and Zuko's like, this is sounding like Avatar talk, and he's just like, yeah, and he learned, he created the technique for lightning redirection based on water bending techniques, incorporating that style of that style of movement and philosophy into firebending, and created a very, very powerful deflection technique, which, if you don't do it right, could kill you, but there's always the risk when you're absorbing electricity. And you need to have balance, you need to have understanding, and this is something that Korra literally never had at all. She never had any balance. Korra just had her strength, and she has a lot of strength. She's very strong. No one's denying that, and I like that. And I do think this really sets her apart from Aang. Aang wasn't inherently weak, but he was a 12-year-old boy. Korra's a teen in her mid to late teens. So, and on top of that, her physique is much better, and she grew up in a place where she probably got to work out a lot. And, she's physically strong. That's fine. In fact, when it comes to the beginning of book 1, I like that Korra is the antithesis to Aang. It gives us a great new character. But when you never develop past that, you end up with problems. What's really funny about Korra is that she mirrors Karuk in almost every single possible way. Avatar Karuk was known as one of the worst failures avatars. He was lazy, incompetent, he was a good fighter, he had lots of physical strength, and by the logic of Korra defenders and people who think that Korra is a good avatar because she is strong, Karuk was a fantastic avatar too. And really only him and Kyoshi would be that, because they were physically strong. But somehow Korra, who mimics a lot of the lack of caring, the laziness, the loitering, the getting into fights for personal glory, somehow she's good for doing this when Karuk is bad. And this is the logic of people trying to perform intense amount of mental gymnastics to defend Korra, because they need to basically rewrite everything about the Avatar universe to make Korra look good. One of Aang's struggles in Avatar: The Last Airbender is finding, inner, peace and, inner balance and, being able to balance the elements. And then Korra never does that. She just brute forces her ways through everything. She punches everything until the problem goes away. Because, and I answered this in an Ask fairly recently, you have villains who each represent some kind of philosophy that it's taken to an extreme, which is an interesting idea, but not incorporated well at all, except maybe Amon, for the most part, until they screwed it up. You have these villains they're attempting to be complex, and Korra punches them. Korra fights them. It's like they think that by saying that she had character development, that she had character development, she really didn't. She just brute forced her way. And it's so funny because you can tell what Brian and Mike value in terms of character. They value strength. Korra's value is in her strength. And this isn't a bad thing, but when it's literally all she has going for her, that doesn't make her a good avatar. It makes you a very bad avatar. She needed to master spirituality, and she never did that. She just had spirituality when it was convenient for the plot. There's never any build-up at all. Especially one of the most absurd moments in book 1 is when she just sits. She couldn't meditate worth a crap at all, and all of a sudden she's just like sitting there like, all right, got in contact with my past self, life. And he sent me this message. Wow, it's completely useless now, and it's only served as exposition for the audience. She just did it, not because she worked at it. And I mean, if she'd been constantly, meditating over and over throughout the series, okay, I could understand her doing that, trying that one time again and succeeding, but no. It's because Brian and Mike focus so much on her strength that they think that that's all that needs to be an avatar. And their concept of spirituality is so messed up. I mean, it's really funny. Kung Fu Panda, the Kung Fu Panda trilogy, those movies understand, Eastern philosophy is so much better than Legend of Korra, and I really want to do a write-up on that. Just because, it sounds absurd. Legend of Korra and Kung Fu Panda. But it's true, Kung Fu Panda is better. Because, Po doesn't actually even rely strictly on strength. In fact, his great victory in each movie comes from a philosophical standpoint. Self-confidence, inner peace, and then I don't particularly remember the lesson in the third movie. I have to watch it again. I've only seen it once. I haven't seen the other two multiple times. Anyway, back to what I was talking about with Legend of Korra. Korra has lots of strength. Brian and Mike do not understand this is not all there is to the Avatar. And this is not what makes Korra a cool character. What makes Korra a cool character is seeing her struggle to basically overcome her weaknesses, which she never does. She just overcomes them. She literally just defeats Amon by punching him with airbending, and that's not... Especially since in Legend of Korra itself, Tenzin straight up says that, airbending is about circular motions and smooth stuff. And what's great, and honestly, when we see Tenzin fight, one thing I love is that he's using a different style of airbending than Aang used. And you can see there's like a strictness and a rough, not roughness, but it's very hard and it's very precise when he's using it, but you still see him do the type of movements. He still keeps the core tenets of airbending while making something his own. And in him being very rigid in tradition, he's very much, very strong and very precise in his movements. And it's in that, and I don't understand, and this might even just be the animators having more clue about this than Brian and Mike, but, seeing that, and then you see Korra just like, yeah, you unlock airbending for your love for Mako. That's not how airbending works. Yeah, I mean, and she just got these powers. And moving on to the other part. Korra just got powers. She just gets them. I mean, airbending. She literally just got airbending. Oh, and Aang just pops out of nowhere and he's like, here's energy bending. And also, here's all your bending back. Oh yeah, I also unlocked the Avatar state too. Aang went through an entire, emotionally traumatizing Dagobah style training with some guru guy in order to unlock the Avatar state. And you're telling me that that there's just some switch Aang could flip on in Korra? Really? Then why didn't Roku come in? He's like, Aang, you're going to need the Avatar state. Click. There you go. Bye. Don't I need to actually, learn this? Nah, we're good. We can just flick a switch on. And then in book 2, she suddenly has the clarity to use I don't know what it's called. I don't even know if there's an official name for it. The spirit water bending. It's not inherently a bad idea using water bending to calm down a spirit. Mixing water bending with, the healing properties of water bending is an interesting idea. Too bad this is never explained, ever. And then Korra, just out of nowhere, just starts doing it. And she doesn't completely succeed at first, but she just does it. And she happens to do it. And just do it right. And I'm like, how? And then, in the end of book 2, she looks within her own soul and then grows into Godzilla. I mean, when Aang became Koizilla at the end of book 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, that made sense. He was fusing with a deity. He was fusing with a deity. And that deity was mad. So it went all Godzilla and destroyed the Zhao's fleet and killed Zhao. But Korra can just grow to giant and then have a Godzilla-style fight scene over the fate of the Earth? Oh. What? In book 3, she just gets metal bending. I didn't watch book 3, but I kept up with it. And she's just like, here, let me try. Woo, I'm a metal bender now. And it's just... Oh, and then they try to say that she's the first metal bending avatar. I'm sorry. There is no way that Toph would have let Aang go his entire life without learning metal bending. There's no way. But Korra gets this to make her special. And that's all these powers are. They're to make Korra special. Just, look at how great she is, because look at all these powers she has. And that's not what defines the Avatar. Brian and Mike have such a physical understanding of the Avatar. They have no concept of spirituality, philosophy, emotion. They have no deeper thought processes. To them, it's like strong, good, Hulk smash. And that's all they care about. So when you have Aang going through all of his emotional trauma to become the Avatar, and even in, going through all the crap he did, and suffering all the crap he did, and then you have compare it to Korra getting things handed to her and having a lot of things just taken care of. Other people took care of her problems for her, really. And it's like, then what's the point of her? No, really. What was the point of her? What? Like, and it's so bad when they're going on about, we don't need the Avatar anymore. And they don't actually give you a good reason to think otherwise. Because Korra started half the crap in that series. Honestly, her decision to leave the spirit portals open in book 2 basically created books 3 and 4. And it's just like, She's such an idiot, and she's so stupid. And how can people think that her strength and all these cool powers that are just thrown at her and just handed to her in a silver platter make her a good character and a good avatar? Being the avatar is more than just being strong. It's more than just being able to fight bad guys that come up. You also have to be the bridge between the spirit world and the physical world. There are episodes dedicated to this and Avatar: The Last Airbender. But when this is brought up in Korra, in the end of book 2, she's literally just like, well, I give up. I have no right to be the bridge because I don't want to. I'm a lazy piece of crap. I'm selfish and I don't want to do this because it's hard. And then 2 weeks later in book 3, she's just like, you should be doing what I'm saying because I'm the Avatar. Like, no. You literally gave up your role as the Avatar. And this, it's like, if someone is willing to just throw away, and it was portrayed as a super mature decision, when someone who has all this great responsibility is willing to throw it all away because it's too hard, they don't deserve that responsibility. And that's what Korra is. She gets all these powers, and what does she use them for? To look cool. Because that's all Brian and Mike think. They think cool is better. Oh, as long as it looks cool. The reason why Avatar: The Last Airbender is so revered isn't because it's cool. And there are parts of Legend of Korra that are cooler than The Last Airbender. But that doesn't make it better. Korra being stronger doesn't make it better. Because you also see extended from the thumbnail I'm using for this, she uses her strength for her own benefit. Even putting non-threats, she uses it to her strength to threaten people. Like she's holding that equalist protester guy who leads the rallies. She's holding him up and threatening him. She in book 2 she gets that judge and she shoves his head in Naga's mouth and she says that she's gonna basically decapitate him if he doesn't do what she says. She's a good Avatar. She's willing to hurt people. And yes, Aang did do that too. Usually when he was emotionally unstable and he was portrayed as being wrong. When he went after and just started decimating the Sandbenders for stealing Appa, he went into the Avatar state. He was going to just destroy everything until Katara pulled him out of it. But he was being portrayed as being emotionally unstable and irrational. He was being irrational. Basically just destroying things and almost killing people because he stole Appa. And yes, I side with Aang. I sympathize heavily with Aang in that situation because Appa's pretty much all he has left of the air nomads. But you can't, but he showed emotional strength and maturity throughout the series as he grew from being a kid to being, from the boy in the iceberg to the Sozin's Comet part 3 or 4. But the end of the finale, you have two very different Aangs, and that's not because he's physically strong. It's not because he's mastered all 4 elements. It's because of the emotional journey he went on, and Korra didn't get that. Korra had strength and powers, and that's all you could really sum her character up with. And that's sad, and Korra deserved so much better than that. But she is not a good character. She's not a good Avatar. And having physical strength, doesn't change that. The only reason people say that is because they're so desperate to defend Korra. They can't possibly fathom that Korra is not great. And I want Korra to be great too. I would love her to be better than Aang. But she's not. And, you gotta be truthful. Korra is just a cheap character. She's literally nothing but the action girl trope, and that's it. There's nothing else to her, really. Everything else changes depending on what Bryke want. What do we want? We'll just change Korra's character, which happened, let's be real, that's happened to literally everyone in the entire show, depending on their whims. But Korra being the main character, it's one of the most obvious. Well, yeah, I think I've pretty much covered that topic. Because really, in summary, Korra, to be a good avatar, you need to have it's not only the mastery of the elements, it's not only having cool powers, it's not only being physically strong, it's also emotional maturity, it's also responsibility, it's also, spirituality, and the understanding of all this spirituality, and understanding the philosophies of all the elements, and it's understanding how to make mature decisions. Because all the avatars have mistakes. I mean, Kyoshi created the Dai Li. Roku let Sozin live, and which caused his death too, because Sozin then left him to die, and then because of that, then Sozin went on to start the 100-Year War. I mean, Karuk was lazy, and he lost the love of his life to Ko because of that laziness, and then you have Korra, and it's like, and then Aang had to learn from these past mistakes, and everyone, you have to forge your own path sometimes, but you also have these people to learn from. And you also have to have the maturity to say, what decision am I going to make? And Korra never had that maturity. She never had that growth. And she never stuck to her morals, because, like I have said in Asks on Tumblr, Korra never had any ideology, any real perspective in the world, any specific worldview. Her view changed depending on the plot, like so much of her character and like so many other characters. She never really stood for anything other than, I want what I want. So yeah, I mean, all those elements are what make a good avatar. And even then, there's always that je ne sais quoi, that intangible element that you can't really exactly pinpoint, that makes a good avatar. Because even Aang made mistakes, and he was a great avatar. So everyone's going to make mistakes, but you also have the maturity to learn from them, which Korra never did, because a lot of the show straight up ignored that she did anything wrong. Hey, remember when she stole Mako from Asami? Twice? Neither does the show. Because they're best friends and Book 3 rolls around. It's ridiculous. And Korra is strong. And that's her defining trait, really. And she doesn't have all the other attributes that would make her a good avatar, because of Brian and Mike's crappy writing. So yeah, I think that wraps it up. So yeah, if you want to submit a topic, just if you're on YouTube, comment below with the topic you want me to talk about. If you're on Tumblr, send me an ask with topic : and then whatever you want me to talk about. Just make sure it's about something fictional, and that it's, something specific enough that I can, talk about this without rambling about something general, like, why do you like X? Or what do you think of Y? Or why is X character your favorite character? And it's like, I need something more specific so that I can actually talk. Because even with specific topics, I will still go on for a pretty long time. So please and thank you. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.